Hey everyone, welcome to Digging In. I'm Melissa Hambrick-Jackson, President of Eagle Center for Leadership. Digging In is about really listening to leaders and understanding how they have dug in life and their leadership journey, and understand what moments that they've had that have defined their leadership. So today I'm so excited about having Jim Boecker, who is my friend and a tremendous leader that we walked together through his leadership journey. He is here today, and Jim is a leader in the personal safety division of 3M. So welcome, Jim. Thank you for being a part of this.
Hi, Melissa. It's great to be here.
Thank you. So as we all know, 3M is strong in the safety division, and you guys have been working around the clock to produce safety, mask, equipment, things of that nature in the midst of things that have been going on in our world, COVID and other things. And so we're looking forward to hearing from you today and learning about how you have been pivoting and the pivoting pain that you have been experiencing and how you've been leading through exhaustion. So we're really looking forward to this piece. So start off and just tell us a little bit about who you are and your role.
Yeah, so my role is with the disposable respirator. So most people would know it as the N95 respirators. And I am the global value stream leader. So really steering the long-term strategies around our disposable respirator business for manufacturing. So we have a core team within the respirator business, and I'm representing manufacturing in that respect.
Great. So start us off. You have been working around the clock. And as we think back to, where that started for you guys, actually started even before COVID, but when did you realize as a leader that you had to pivot, had to really make a sharp turn in the business, and what did you do?
Okay, well, there's really two buckets or two time periods that I would highlight. Prior to this year, we've always been working to establish our capability to respond in case of we call them X factors. So pandemics, fires, hurricanes, flu, right? So we had already positioned ourselves, and that was part of our strategy. But I've had people, that had been part of pandemic response previously kind of educate us on what it was like, and then all of a sudden come January 1st, really we started seeing effects of the Australian wildfires, Philippine volcano. COVID was just starting, really wasn't in the press yet, right? It was starting in Hong Kong, so we started getting demand from there. But we knew enough right then, we had to pivot. We needed to change. We had to go out of our normal routine. And we created a ERT, and that's what our normal response is, emergency response team. And so what that meant for us was we got a few of our key functional leaders, myself representing manufacturing, we had supply chain, marketing, sourcing, a couple other people, and we created a war room. So we literally, pivoted from our normal routine, literally left our offices, created a war room so that we could collect data, post things on the wall, work together as a team, and make sure we had the right people with the right knowledge to help respond quickly. And that really, as leaders, it helped us locally with our leadership and teams in St. Paul, but also globally to know, hey, we're available 100% of the time, right here, always. So we had vice presidents, directors, engineers, marketers coming. They knew where to find us, right? So just created a rhythm that allowed us to quickly gather data, discern it, provide priorities, direction, and get that disseminated out as quickly as possible. And so a couple examples, we literally would have leaders come walk in the room because they knew where we were, right? They'd walk in and say, I need information. I need this information in the next 15 minutes.
Wow.
go up to higher ups or to wherever it needed to be directed. We'd stop what we were doing, be able to maybe pull in an extra person or two, but drive that data analysis or get the right information so they could be prepared to go respond. And then we started to create a rhythm globally as well to disseminate our plans and how each factory and region needed to pivot as well. So that really was the first quarter where we started to understand and how this was spreading, how we needed to manipulate our supply chain and to respond as quickly as possible and scale up. So we had to go and scale up 24/7, right? Everything worldwide as fast as we could. And then work with our suppliers to get them on board as well.
Mm.
The next big one came in March.
Mm.
So really about mid-March, right? It was much more in the news and becoming relevant in North America and was hitting Europe. And of course, we all went home.
Right.
So we're all working from home now. And how do we keep the momentum and keep the structure? And so we fell back onto some, obviously these virtual tools to help us communicate, but we had a regular rhythm where globally we had data flowing up and information flowing up from our plants into the regions and into our core ERT team. And we had multiple levels of ERT. So throughout the day, you could literally get information from the floor of the factories around the world. And we're in 15 locations around the world.
Wow.
Up through the regions into our manufacturing supply chain ERT, have a breakdown and a reaction plan in 30 minutes in the morning, and then be able to respond to the next two levels of ERT that would go up the chain of command. So we did that virtually. We're still doing it virtually. And, and early on there, for a couple months at least, it was 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an example. And the other thing is our engineers around the world were able to gear up and respond at levels that I've never seen or even imagined. I mean, there would be times where I get a call, we need to execute, we have a constraint, I need to execute this plan, a plan, and I'd get the information on Saturday morning.
Wow.
I'd literally put out a note to half a dozen people that I thought could help us react quickly. And literally by Sunday afternoon, the team had already formed around the world. They came up with their action plan, and we did some qualifications within 2 weeks that normally would have taken 3 months.
Wow.
So I knew right then that we had, people were engaged, they were ready to respond, but it was taxing, right? It just takes a lot of energy. We're not quite at that pace now. Some of us are, a lot of my team members are, my engineers working for me, but those were the two big pivots.
So tremendous. You had to organize quickly. You had to create change quickly. You had to deploy people quickly and do all those things, and obviously experiencing COVID yourself and just going home and all the transition from being on site and all those pieces. So tremendous that you were able to help support and undergird so that you guys could respond to this pandemic and you could move quickly in the pandemic.
We had you can imagine the number of projects that right became reality in the supply chain that you had to manage, and we started creating weekly stand-ups so that people, our engineers could report out, and we'd have the opportunity to report back to them because priorities were changing all the time. So they needed to hear us and what changes were coming about at the higher level. They needed to hear each other, right? Because there were some interactions and interdependencies on some of the programs. And because we're a regulated business, so lots of paperwork and diligence and data that has to be managed to be safe. And on multiple levels, right? It facilitated itself, and it's still going strong. So
Mm.